always okay. Okay, let me start with this session. So the purpose of validation is that to ensure that the data entered by the end user must be consistent and correctness, okay, while creating a project. Okay, so they act as a gatekeeper, preventing the system from accepting invalid or illogical data. That means, let us take one example of while creating a project definition. If he is trying to enter a different project ID, system will not, should not allow, apart from INDH, other characters. If he is trying to enter, it should not accept. Similarly, while he is entering some data in the project definition level like plant, company code, profit center, controlling area, these are some of the arg elements. Okay, if we want to validate, if we want to check what is the profit center to be maintained for this INDH, okay, as per that only we need to allow. If some other profit center, if the user is trying to enter, we should not allow this. Okay, that is the purpose of validations. Okay, that is the purpose of validations. This is one of the example that I am telling, real time example that I am telling. Okay, like that, whatever fields that are available in the table level like PROJ and PRPS, when it comes to project and WBS element respectively, we can validate the relevant fields by writing the validations to ensure the correctness of the data, whatever the data that the user is entering. That is the key purpose. So with respect to the previous session, I gave some examples. Okay. Now here in this session, we will see some of the real-time examples. Okay. Some of the real-time examples that I came across during my projects, for example. Now, those real-time validations, how to create, what are the steps to create the validations? Okay. Now, to create a validation, the prerequisite is that we must have a message class. Now, let me try to create a message class. We will go one by one. So, in the previous session, we are not able to create a message class because we don't have our technical access in the functional server. So, that is the reason. Now, in this session, I took one technical user ID so that I will be able to create the message class and I will be able to maintain the messages required for validation purpose. Okay. So now the first step is the prerequisite for creating any validation and to assign in the project profile is that we need to have a one message class. Now how to create a message class? The transaction code for creating a message class is SC91. You need to enter SC91. Just enter the message class name as ZPS. Okay. Any message class that the customer is creating, it must start with Z. Okay, or Y. Okay, I am starting with Z. Okay, so GPS, this is the message class that I want to create, where I will be able to maintain the messages, and further I will assign these message numbers in the validation. Okay, so create. Now see, system is showing some message. Similarly, while creating the project, for me, I have to display to the user some messages. So those messages I want to maintain in this message class. Okay. That is the reason of creating the message class. Okay. This message class will hold the messages required for PS module. That is the meaning. Okay. So PS, I am writing PS message classes. Message class, for example. Okay. Now, what is the package? You can give one package. You can give one package number. Let us say I am giving, if you search with Z, for example, if you search with Z, there are many packages that are available in this. Okay, I am selecting customer development class. Okay. Whereas in the real time, for each module, there will be a separate package that will be provided by the technical consultant or the basis consultant as per the requirement. Mostly it will be a technical consultant. Okay. So I am selecting this case as Z001. Okay. We are saving this in the local object, but in the real time, you should not save any such things, any configurations in the local object. The reason behind is that you won't be able to transport this request from development server to quality server or production server. So you need to choose always save option. Don't select local object. If you are trying to save in local object, it will reside in only in development server in which you are creating, or the client in which you are creating this message class. Okay. So you never choose this local object. If you choose the local object, it will reside in the same server only in the real time. Okay. Save. So request, it is asking some request, create own request. Okay. So I'm giving here some description, PS colon message class. Okay. Save. So system generated one transport request number. This transport request number, upon completion, you can release it. First, you need to release the child one, then the parent one. Once you release it, you can provide it to the basis consultant so that they will move from one server to another server. I am just click continue. Click on continue again. Now, if you see, the message class is saved. So where it is saved, the message class is saved actually in the TR, transport request. Okay. Now, whatever messages that are required, I will be able to maintain here. System automatically assign a 3-digit number. That means I can create up to 999 messages in this particular message class. Okay. These are more than enough actually. So we will be able to create 999 messages. So now we will start. So now our message class is ready. Now we will create a validation. Okay. Let me, before create a validation, what I have done, I will show you. I created one project profile in this user, okay, or in this client. Okay. Now, if you see here, this is the project profile that I created. Okay. Here, there is something called validation, project definition level and WBS element level. Once you create a validation at the project definition level, you need to assign here. If the system has to validate the project while creation, automatically you need to enable this checkbox, automatic validation. Okay, then only system will validate automatically, or else you need to perform manual check. Okay, so if the system has to perform automatic validation, you need to enable this checkbox and you need to assign the validation here. Okay, then system will check. Otherwise, if you simply create the validation and if you don't assign here, system won't perform the validation. So let me first create the validation, then we will come back and we will assign. So the transaction code for creating the validation is OPSI. So now the first step is we created the message class. Now once after creation of the message class, now we are ready to create the validation at the project definition level. For that, the transaction code is OPSI. You can also navigate through SPRO, that also I will show. Click on this project definition. Okay. Now select this project definition. For example, select this. Now click on this create validation. Now system, see, this is the reason why we created the message class first. Reason being is that when we are trying to create a validation, system will ask the message class. Without this, we won't be able to create the validations. So our message class, what is our message class? GPS, right? So whenever we are executing in SAP the first time any transaction, it will execute in the background all the programs. So first time it will take some time. Okay. When you execute the next time, it will automatically execute in a fast way. Okay. So the first time only it will take some time. So now give the validation name. This is the project definition level validation name. So I will give it as ZPD. Okay, Z project definition. That means ZPD project definition. Let us say for H, I will give ZPD. I will give ZPD. Okay, ZPD. I will give ZPD simply. That means all validations I can write for the project definition. If you have different validations for different profiles, then you can create again a new validation. But if you want to validate all the profiles, all the project profiles with the same validation name, and you can write the steps under this validation. If at all, if some project profiles are having different validations which are not required for this project profile, then you can create a new validation. New validation. For example, if I have a separate validation for independent house, whereas for some other project profiles, those steps are not required, then I can create separate one more validation and I can assign that validation for that project profile. I am assuming in this case, all the rules and validations that I am writing are same for all project profiles, right? So I want to apply for all, let us say for all the customer projects, and for maybe CWAP projects, I want to create a separate one. That is different. Okay, I am assuming like that. So project definition level, project definition validations. Okay, so you have to give the validation name and its description. Okay, so what is the application area? See, it is showing automatically the application area. The application area here, it is PS. Okay, what are all other application areas? Let us try now. I am trying to find if you see the validations are applicable in some other application areas also. Like for example, if you see the cost accounting, okay, there are some other modules in the finance they will write. Okay, in the project system we have some other modules, but our application area is PS, right? So what is the call up point? Call up point is actually 110. System assigned automatically the call up point because I selected the node project definition. So for the project definition, it is 110. For the WBS element, it is 120. Okay, if you want to check the consistency between the sales order and project, it is 320. If you want to check the consistency of project structure, it is 330. And if it is at network header level 110, 1110, and it is at network activity 1120. As of now, we will be discussing with respect to project definition and WBS element only. Okay. So this is system automatically assigning. We are not doing anything, right? So it assigned automatically color point as well. And message ID, this we assigned. Okay. Now I have not saved this. That is the reason system not showing any created by and changed by. When the created by will come when I save this validation. When the changed by will come when I do some changes again after creation, right? It will also give the timestamp, right? You are getting, press enter, right? See, as soon as I pressed enter, system picked user ID of the creator and date, time, right? Now, now I want to create one step. What is the step that I want to create? As per the Excel, see, I have something called project definition nomenclature. So I want to check the first four digits of the project ID. Okay, if the profile is this, I want to check this. Project definition must and should start with the INDH only. Okay, it should be like INDH, right? So I want to create that validation. How to create that? Can anybody tell? In the last session, I explained, right? What is the next
Yes,
step
sir.
that,
Next step rule step.
right? So we have to click on the insert step, right?
Yes, sir.
So now here we have to give project definition nomenclature. Project definition nomenclature, or I can say more specific. If I have more project profile, INDH project nomenclature. Let us say I have this is real estate, independent houses construction. I have something called manufacturing projects. I have something called construction projects. I have something called plant maintenance and turnaround projects. I have something called some other projects. Assume some other turbine manufacturing projects. For example, if I have different project profiles, then what validation for which profile I am writing, right? Or which type of project I am creating. So if you give in the naming convention properly, whenever you encounter some issue, you will be able to correct that very easily. If you give generic name, it is difficult for you again to search in which validation step I need to correct that. That is the reason we created INDH project profile, and our project starts with INDH. So the nomenclature for this project nomenclature validation step also I am giving the same thing, right? INDH project nomenclature. Now what is the prerequisite? So the prerequisite for creating a project is we have to select the project profile, right? Now, the project profile is available in which table? It is available in project definition. So what I have to do, I have to go in the project definition, right? So I took now the technical names before it is a description. Now I know the field directly. If you don't know the field, you can search it. PROJ of PROFL. This is the field, right? Double click on this. Now project profile I selected. Now what is the project profile? Equal to, you need to assign that value. That is the reason equal to operator I chosen. Then click on this constant. Now if you don't know the project profile, click on the search help. Select the project profile. Our project profile is INDH. Now, so the prerequisite is met. The prerequisite is if the project profile is INDH, what I have to check now? Let us say if the user is Shiva, the password must be something, right? Similarly, while creating a project profile is this. I need to check my project ID, right? I need to check my project ID. It should start with INDH. So the field for that is actually a project definition will save in PSP ID, right? So PSP ID is the field in which the project definition will store. So I want to validate within that project definition only first four characters. So project definition, okay, like, okay. So what I have to give? Constant I have to give. What is that constant? Tell me.
INDH star hyphen.
Star, right?
Right, right.
It must be like INDH. Okay. Why I am giving hyphen and star, I explained you in the previous session, right? So now the system will check for this profile. If the profile is this, it will check for the project definition starting with INDH, right? So if the user is trying to enter the first four characters, some other characters, then the system should throw some error or some message, right? Along with the error. You should understand what is this error, right? For that to notify him, we need to give here message number. Let us say my message number is 000. Why I am giving 000? My message class is starting with 000. First number is 000. So I am giving here GPS change. So my first message I am maintaining like project definition. I will write in shortcut project definition must start with INDH for project profile INDH. Is it fair enough? User will be able to understand this message, right?
Yes, sir.
So check for any errors. Yes. So there is no errors. Okay. Save. Okay. Now let us see. Now let me try here. Try to assign here. So I will assign here. Press enter. Now see the message is coming here, right? If you want to add single quote, you can also add the single quote. Okay. So the message is also assigned now. Now, as a consultant, once you write the validation, you need to test it. That is called as unit testing. That is called as unit testing. So now let me save this validation. First validation we wrote. This is the real-time validation that we are seeing now. Now this is generated successfully. Now what we have to do, unless until, okay, you perform this transport, it won't move into a transport request, right? So save at this level, right? Save at this level, at the folder level, and then transport. It will choose one transport request. Okay, it will choose one transport request in which it has to be moved. That means each object, each configuration object that we are creating, it will be created either as a customizing request or a workbench request. Always workbench requests will be created by the ABAP consultant. But in our case and FICO consultant case, these validations will be done by functional consultant only. Only message class will be created by the technical consultant, or I can say ABAP consultant. Whereas these transports will be moved by the basis consultant. These are fundamentals. These are the fundamentals. That is the reason I am stressing on this topics again and again. Okay. So this is the transport request that is created while we are creating the message class. So in the same message, in the same transport request, now I am moving this validation also on the request type is workbench, right? So now this step one, whatever we created and the validation that we created is successfully moved into a transport request. Okay, if you want to verify, you can verify it through SC09 as well. Let me go to SC09 and I will show you SC09, right? So now, as I said, the customizing request is for functional configurations, any customization that we are doing. But whereas in this case, for validations and substitutions and message classes, we need to choose workbench request. As this TR is not released yet, so I am selecting modifiable. I want to see modifiable TRs under my name, under my username. Okay. Now, if you see, this is the TR, right? This is the child, this is the parent. Always parent number will be less than the child number. Okay. Now, if you see the message class is available here that we created, right? And there is some validations that we wrote. Okay. Now, if you see here, okay. So this is something that we defined validation name and the step that we defined, right? So all the contents will store whatever we are configuring, that will store here, right? That will store here. Everything it will hold. The TR will hold everything. Okay. You can analyze what you have configured also, right? You can analyze like this. Okay. So that is about the TR. Now let us do unit testing. Once you do the configuration, any step that you configured, any kind of configuration that you do, you need to perform unit testing to ensure that or to check that whether it is working properly or not. Now, I told you before starting the validation creation, I explained you one thing. Okay, in order to work the validation properly, what we have to do? Can anybody tell? Anybody? Now we created the validation. In order to test that, where we have to assign that validation? Will it work on its own or we have to assign it somewhere? Uday and Mohan garu, Bobby. Now let me try. Let us say, for example, let me try INDT I wrote now. Okay, for example, I will write instead of INDH, I write INDT. Let me try. Let me try manually whether the validation will work or not. So whenever I am trying manually, system also checking manually without assigning also system checking that whether the project definition is starting with INDH or not. It is still checking, but I have to perform manually the validation here. Manual, this is manual check, right? But system, I want to check the system automatically, right? How to do that? How to do that? Can anybody tell? I explained before starting creation of that validation. We need to assign this in project profile. I explained, right? We need to assign this in project profile, right?
Yeah.
So what is a project profile? Project profile will hold all the required values which are necessary for creating the project, right? For creating the project. So this is one step that we are creating. Okay. Validations. Next is substitutions. Like that, we have project types, we have field keys, we have field key for WBS, project definition, version profile, simulation profile. So if we complete the project profile, 90% of our configurations are completed. If we complete the project profile, 90% of our configurations are completed. If you see here, network profile, okay, if you see here, costing sheet, settlement profile, settlement rule strategy, all these are configuration, individual configurations. And after that, we have to assign these configurations, relevant configurations in the project profile. Then the complete project profile will make up a project creation properly. If we don't maintain all these values properly, then the required features will be not available. Like for example, I want to create only one WBS at the root level. I need to enable only one root. Now, if I don't enable, I will be able to create multiple roots within the project definition, right? So each and every field has its own usage or its own purpose. Why we need to create,
Hello?
where it is used.
Yeah?
Mohan, Mohan Garu. Okay, okay. So you need to assign the project definition. So that is the reason we are going through one by one. So we started with validation. Since we are creating the project structure, while creating the project structure, we need to validate. First thing is, while creating a user ID and password, system will ask user, will guide you. Your user ID must be like this. Your password must be like this, right? It will guide you, right? While creating Gmail user ID and password. Similarly, while creating a project, system should validate whether you are creating as per the rules and conventions that were agreed with the client. If the user is trying to create some other project definition with a different nomenclature, system should throw an error. So that is the first step. That is the reason I am trying to do first with validations while creating the project profile. Then you will understand what is the purpose of this project profile and what kind of values it will hold, right? So we started with project definition, right? So now project definition validation also we wrote now. To in order to make sure that system should check automatically while saving the project definition, we should enable this checkbox, right? And save it. Again, system will pop up for a TR. We need to make sure that always whenever we are changing something, it will move to a TR. Okay. So go back now. So I saved successfully. Now see, now what I am trying to do, let me save first because the changes may not affect immediately. So I am going back now. Now I assigned my validation and I am trying to do the automatic validation on the project definition with the project nomenclature, right? So I validated only first four characters. That is the reason I am changing here. Let us say INTH, right? Now let me save this. See, system, I am not doing any manual check. I am not performing any manual check. System, upon trying to save, while the user is trying to save, it is throwing in a message text. This is the message text that we maintained in the message class. Agree? So same thing system is trying to pop up. Now project definition must start with INTH, whereas user is trying to enter INTH. So which is not allowed. So user has to correct this. User has to correct this as per the message displayed. User has to correct this. Okay. And save it. Now the system is allowing. So this is about project definition level validations. Any queries up to here? Any queries?
No, fine.
Okay. Now next we will jump into the WBS element level validation. Okay. I gave only one example. Remaining things you just practice it on your own. Okay. Similarly, for the project definition, similarly for the WBS level, I want to validate. I want to validate. Let us say, let us say, I want to validate this at level 1. If the project profile is this, and root WBS. At the root WBS, I want to validate the root WBS level, WBS element level, WBS, and the project definition must be same, right? I want to validate. That is not there here, but I want to validate that. That step is not there here. Okay. I wrote in a different way. Okay. Up to 14 characters like that. Whereas I will show in a different way. This is also same validation only, whatever I am talking, but it is not for the level 1. It is for all the WBS elements that I am creating against a project. Now, let me validate if the project profile is this. Okay. And if the level is 1, That means only for root WBS element, I want to validate that my root WBS and the project definition must be same. This is our requirement, right? As per the initial discussion or the real-time example that I explained with respect to the independent house scenario. Agree? Right? Mohan Garu?
Yes, Andy.
So what we discussed is in the first session, in the real-time example, our project definition and the root WBS element. So I want to make quick copy and paste. So I will enable this, right? So now my root WBS element and the project definition must be same because I have only one root, right? So user has to create like this. If user is not trying to create the root WBS element same as the project definition, then the system should throw an error. Then the system should validate it. That is our requirement. Now see, system is allowing me to save because I am entering correctly. For suppose user is trying to change afterwards. Now how to validate that? At level 1 only. I am not talking about level 2 WBS element. Only at level 1 my project definition and root WBS is same, whereas in the level 2 it will change. Even in the level 2, I want to validate this portion of WBS element must remain the same. Okay, how to do that? That I will explain. But as of now, at level 1, I will validate. How to validate that? This is also one real-time scenario. I will validate it now, right? That example is not there in the Excel sheet, but I will create that step now, right? Now, what I will do, independent house, INDH, root WBS validation, right? So I am validating for the INDH project profile root WBS element. How it must be? It must be same as a project definition, right? So my project definition value that is stored in the PROJ table and the WBS element that is going to store in the PRPS table at the level 1 must be same. I want to validate that. What is the prerequisite? Again, my prerequisite is that, so let us say I want to validate along with the project profile, or else if I have the similar requirement for all the project profiles, then I can simply validate at project definition. If the project level is 1, then I can validate. Okay, then I can validate. So where this step we have to write? This step is at the WBS element level, not at the project definition level. This is not at the project definition level. This is at the root WBS level. So where we have to create this step? Can somebody tell? This is not here. This step is not here. We need to create this step here, right? We need to create this step is here at the WBS element level. So I am not saving that. I am creating this first similar to project definition. I have to give the message class very quickly. I am giving now. I have to give the validation name. This taking some time. System is taking some time. So I'm giving here ZWBS, GWBS. I can say WBS element, WBS level validations. That means for all the WBS elements, I want to validate by assigning this validation name. Now let me create the step, whatever we discussed, INDH root WBS. This case, I want to validate only level 1 WBS, right? So here I have two tables now. One is project definition, another one is my WBS element level table. So this is PROJ of PROFL project profile field equal to my constant is INDH. Let me give that. I know that profile, so I am giving directly, or else if you don't know, you can search. And what I need to give? What I need to give? Can somebody tell? Only level 1 I need to validate. You need to validate the STUFE, STUFE, this is level, right? And level equal to constant, that is at level 1 of the WBS element. For each WBS, there will be a level. So I am mentioning directly, if the project profile is this and level is this, I want to check what I have to check. PROJ of, let me search that, PROJ of PSPID, right? Equal to, it must be equal to what? PRPS of, okay? Let me tell that field also POSID, right? So my project definition and the WBS element must be same. If it is not same, I want to throw an error. My message number is 001. My message number is 001. Where to create this message? Where to create this message? Can somebody tell? So I want to create 001. Change. So what I have to give? Project definition and root WBS element must be, WBS element must be same. Or I can also write root WBS element must be same as project definition, right? So either of them is same at where? L1, at level 1. That is the meaning, right? So I am creating, okay, save. Now let me go back to the messages. I am assigning this message so that user will be able to understand this thing. So once you generate this, what you have to do? Select this folder, save again, and once that is generated, you need to move it to the transport. So this time it is GWBS, it is moving again to the transport successfully. Now let me perform unit testing whether this is working or not. So go to CJ20N again. CJ20N is the project builder. Double click on the project definition, right? Double click on this. Now again, we need to assign this as well in project profile. We need to assign this in project profile. In order to validate automatically, we need to assign this also in project profile. So ZWBS is my validation name. So I am saving it. Again, it will move to the TR, save it. That's it. Okay. It's it. That's it. Now let me perform unit testing. Once you done, so if you are not assigning this, system won't check automatically. So I already created. Let me go back because before assignment I opened it. So that is the reason. Let me go back again. Double click on this. Okay. So click on this WBS element overview. So let me try here 0002. So my project definition number, serial number is 0001, but whereas I am trying to give in the WBS element 0002. Let me check whether the system is accepting or not. Right, see, system is not accepting, right? System is not accepting because let me check automatic validation, it is working because I assigned the validation name and I enabled the checkbox automatic validation. That is the reason system is checking. Let me try here instead of 01, I am trying to do here 02. Again, let me save. So it is not allowing. If you change anything, system will not allow. It must be same as project definition only at level 1. Let us say in level 2, I am entering the project definition. System will check. System will check or not. In level 2, it will check validate or not. Can somebody tell in the level 2 whether it will validate or not?
Oh, maybe not, sir. Only you given level 1.
Exactly. You are correct. So let us assume this is manpower planning. Okay. Okay. So I entered here. So what I will do, I will try to change it here to 0002. Let the system, whether the system will check or not. It is not checking because I validated at the level 2, level 1 only. So I need to validate at level 2 also. How to do that? You need to do this assignment. You need to do this assignment. You need to validate. You need to validate. I will tell that example also. You need to validate up to here, up to this portion. This portion must remain the same because our project definition is this. So whatever WBS element you create, this portion of project definition should not be changed. It should remain same throughout the entire project life cycle. So you people should create this and you should show me. Okay, this is one assignment that I am giving, right? This is one assignment I am giving. Okay, some more validations also I will give. One more validation is you need to check. Let us say I am having profit center here, one all zeros one. If user is trying to enter some other profit center, in your system you may have your own profit center. If the profit center is different, you need to validate. If the value is this, it should say allow to save the user. If the value is different, then it should not allow user to save this project, right? So these two validations you need to write on your own. There are some more examples. I will tell those also as per the real-time scenario. This is the real-time examples which I came across during my projects. Okay. So now I hope it is very clear with respect to the validations for project definition and WBS element, how to write, right? Any queries? Any queries up to here? Any queries? Mohan Garu, Uday, Bobby.
No, sir.
So it is clear, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. So now what I will do, I will